Welcome to the Mrs. R Relevant Daily Draft Podcast brought to you by the Draft Professor. Joined this great Monday evening with Chris and Dalton. Dalton, you have a new coach. How's it feel to drop like Brian Dable?
Yeah, he sucks at game management, so I'm not mad about it. I mean, I did think we had something nice going with Dart and him, but I think a different coach will like Dart, and hopefully they can pick up where he left off. Kafka he coached good first game too. Kafka, people been talking I'm getting a job forever, so we'll see if he can maybe keep it the rest of the year.
I think Kafka will have some head coaching opportunities in his future. I don't know if it's 2026 cycle, but I think he would be on the short list in 2027 if he's not already on the short list now. So
for sure.
Cool. And Chris, that was a great Chiefs-Broncos game. I was pulling for the Chiefs. Sorry they didn't pull it out, but I was thoroughly.
No, that's fine. They didn't play well, and I gotta bring this up. The referees have to be fixed. This is getting to the point now where it's like, oh God, every game, 12, 13 penalties you don't understand. They'll they'll throw a flag, they go, yeah, there is no penalty, even they pull it up. It's getting to the point where it's like, all right, are they as bad as NBA referees? We're not sure yet.
You know, a call I've seen lately called way more than ever is defensive holding on the lineman that he tackles. And I hate that call. They never used to call that. I feel like I haven't seen it prevalent before this year, and then they just started calling it a lot.
I saw a holding call. Was it the Bills game? Yeah, there was a holding call on was it a field goal or extra point? I believe it was a field goal. And they called Buffalo, who was playing defense, for holding.
Yeah.
And the Buffalo player barely touched the other player.
Yeah.
So either they called it on the wrong player or they're just making stuff up to keep games close. I don't know. I'm with you guys there on the penalties. But miraculously, the penalty flags seem to go away in the playoffs. It's like they use the penalties to keep the regular season interesting, and then there's fewer calls in the playoffs. But I don't think we want to make this a podcast about NFL refereeing, because then we wouldn't get to talk about all these great defensive linemen.
Fair.
Yeah, well, we go on for 2 hours.
Yeah. So we have a full podcast today. We're going to cover more than our normal 8. Santana Hopper of Tulane, Terry Webb of SMU, Grayson Halton from Oklahoma, Skylar Gill Howard from Texas Tech, Lee Hunter from Texas Tech, Albert Regis from Texas A&M, Mateen Ibaragba from Wake Forest, John Henry Daly from Utah, Vincent Anthony Jr. from Duke, and then we're going to finish it out strong with Malachi Lawrence from UCF and Cassius Howell from Texas A&M. So we got some defensive tackles. We have a few edges, and we are going to start with draft professor Darling Santana Hopper. There are a few draft professors that are all in on Santana Hopper. Chris, what did you think of the Tulane defensive tackle?
There's stuff to like about him. I mean, he's a decent-sized defensive player. I was looking at this, and first thing that jumps out of my mind is he's basically a guy who's a hybrid. He's around, they list him as 6'3", about 290. He's 6'2", 265. So he's a guy who can. Tulane uses him differently. They'll use him as defensive tackle, sometimes as an edge. He has a good pass rush swim move, which he used several times in the Northwestern game. He's very quick on his feet. He's athletic. He has good burst. The concern I have is just, what is he? That's what I'm worried about. When he plays defensive tackle, he can get pushed around because he's 6'2", 265. When he's an edge, he's not tall enough, so he can get overwhelmed. His best game was against Tulsa, and that says a lot. It's like that you worry about the level of competition. You worry about Is he going to be somebody who can take his game to the next level, or is he a good player? Right now, I have him as a 7th rounder, undrafted free agent. He could go back to school, get bigger, figure out, all right, am I a defensive tackle, am I an edge, and figure that part out. But there's stuff to like. It's Tulane, it's the American Conference, and as I said, for what they use him as, you scratch your head and go, what are you?
Yes, Dalton, what did you see with Santana Hopper?
Yeah, this is a really weird player. I mean, 6'2", 265. I don't think we've ever talked about a D tackle that size getting drafted. I mean, I don't think he'll play D tackle in the NFL. Definitely couldn't. But that's the problem. He's not playing edge right now. You're going to ask him to play edge in the NFL. Short arms. He is, very athletic. He has a good shock and shed move. Some people said it's the best I've ever seen, but his teammate said that. So, but he has a great motor. A lot of what Chris said, man, he's a tweener right now, and I don't know if he has the upside of pass rush to make him just a pass rush specialist. And I don't know he can get to 290. I don't think he can get to 290 and maintain his athleticism. So he's just a tweener for me. And I know a lot of people like him a lot, but I just don't see him being a really good NFL player. I got him as a undrafted guy, maybe 7th round, sneaks in, maybe if he has a really good combine. But, yeah, just tweener guy.
Yeah, and I think I'm with you guys, right? So, first of all, part of what Draft Professor is that if there's hype about somebody on social media, like somebody's tweeting about a player, we'll cover the player, let 2 people kind of hash it out and see if independent analysis agrees with whatever somebody's putting on Twitter. I definitely think Santana Hopper goes back to school. I would love to see him transfer up, go from Tulane to a Power 4 school. Because he's already transferred into Tulane, right? Tulane's not his first school either. So transferring up for Santana Hopper and having a great senior year, like if he can dominate at 265 at a Power 4 school, then there's something, like I would say that there's something there. But giving him a draftable grade when, to Chris's point, his best game was against Tulsa, to me is a little bit of a stretch. So I'm with you guys there. The next player is Terry Webb from SMU, 6'3", 313 pounds. Dalton, what did you think of Terry Webb when you watched him?
Yeah, you look at his box score, 5.5 sacks this year, and then you're like, wow, that's really impressive. And you look at the team, and there's like 6 guys with 5 sacks in SMU, so it's a really good scheme thing. It looks like, but his film was solid. He has good power to push the pocket, and he can finish his sacks once he gets there, and that's clear, with his production. Natural leverage, being only 6'3", he can get under the lineman's pads. Really quick get off at the ball. I think the bull rush is his best move, so he needs to add a little bit more. But at 313, I'm not sure how much he's going to add, being like spin moves and all that. He struggles to disengage once he's lashed arm with his short arms. But his pass rush production, I think a lot of it is just hustle and second effort pass rush instead of just winning off the ball. So that you can't just look at the box score when looking at guys. But I got him 5th round right now. And his run defense is just, for being 313, he definitely struggles against double teams anchoring, and he struggles with gap integrity. A lot of cutback lanes available when he's on the field.
Yeah, and Chris, what did you think of Terry Webb?
Similar. He's an excellent pass rush defensive tackle because he's very quick. He has explosive first step, and the motor's always there. He keeps going like the Energizer Bunny. And when it's lateral, that's when when he can do some damage in a run because he can use that quickness. But it's when they run straight at him, that's when the problem shows up. Like, he's not physically big enough and strong enough to really hold up against, offensive guards and centers will double team him and run him over. There's always a place for pass rushers. In the NFL, if you can get to the quarterback, they'll find a way to use you. And that's why you're out in that 5th, 6th round. Team will take him and they'll go, hey, we can use him as just pass rushing, downs. Get him, get after the quarterback. We'll figure a way out how to use you. But I don't see, unless he gets physically stronger at the next level, I don't see teams going, Yeah, he's a 3-down defensive tackle.
Okay.
Yeah,
And Dalton, was your grade draftable?
yeah, like 5th round. I just think he plays smaller than his size, and he's a weird player for his size. You'd expect him to have more against the run instead of the pass, but it's the opposite way. But in the NFL, I think his quickness is going to hold him back against the pass. I don't think he'll be quite as productive.
Okay. Next player. I know that Grayson Holton hasn't started a lot of games, but he has played in a lot of games for Oklahoma. So defensive tackle, 6'2", 292. Chris, what did you think of Grayson Holton?
He looks the part, as I said, and I said that with several of these players. Like, you see him, he's 6'2", 295, so he's in that Chris Jones mold of defensive tackle where, he has excellent awareness. He's a smart player, knows how to recognize the play development, react, and not get caught off with screens or traps or any of that stuff. He has strong hand usage, can get under techniques, can shed blocks, maintain. He's an excellent gap integrity run defender, and he's always just moving. It's just, again, the size is a big factor now. I mean, I feel like almost unless you are this freak athlete like an Aaron Donald, Chris Jones, if you're not 315, 320 defensive tackle, you're screwed. I've seen him at times over pursue. His pass rush moves are basically just, I'm gonna quickly get through you, and if that move doesn't work, I'm in trouble. I mean, you can use him in different positions, but to me he's a 7th round undrafted free agent because he's not the modern day and defensive tackle, which is big. I'm gonna blow things up, or I'm going to just clog the middle.
Dalton, how about you? What did you think?
I mean, Washington's Oklahoma defense, one of the best in the country, I think. And when you watch him, he does stick out some games. I mean, against Alabama this weekend, he played really good, made a lot of big impact plays. 3 sacks this year, but you said part-time role. They got a lot of depth in the D-line. They like to rotate in and out. He's explosive off the snap. He can create immediate pressure against less talented linemen. Good lateral mobility. He can make plays sideline to sideline. He has a relentless motor on the pass rush. When his first rush fails, he'll keep going and keep going. His hands are strong. You can use them to shed blocks. He can maintain gap integrity and run. As long as he ain't getting double teamed. If he's getting double teamed, though, that's he's going to get washed out most of the time. He does have natural feel for rush lanes. He can when quarterbacks scramble, he's able to get to him a lot of times before they're able to get past the line of scrimmage. Good play recognition, new screens and play actions, but he does have a lot of issues. Limited size, larger linemen overwhelm him often. Inconsistent anchor against double teams. His initial burst on pass rush is good, but after that, he doesn't have many moves. So if he gets stymied, it's tough for him to recover. And he leaves gaps in run lanes a lot for running backs. And his hand placement needs work. He's outside his frame a lot, and the linemen just drive him back. So his size definitely holds him back. I got him drafted 6th, 7th round. Somebody will take him just for his pass rush and downs, I think, but not much upside in the run game.
Chris, was your grade on Holton draftable?
Yeah, about 7th round. I mean, if he does well in the combine, he shows that athleticism. There'll be teams that might go, look, we can maybe see if we can play edge instead of defensive tackles. Just the production's not there, and right now as a defensive tackle, he's just too small.
Okay. So I know we had some pre-show discussion on Skylar Gill Howard from Texas Tech, 6'1", 290. He's played about 5 games this year. He is currently out with an injury. Chris, do you think Skylar Gill Howard gets drafted?
No, just too small. I mean, we're talking defensive tackles, and Skylar Gill Howard is around that 6'1", 290-pound range, and we don't see those guys anymore. I mean, you look at every defensive tackle we're seeing, and they're all, at least 6'3" to 6'2" at the smallest, 300 to 340. I mean, you want monsters. and he's just a guy who uses quickness, uses penetration, and he didn't do much against the better teams. So, yeah, he's a nice college player. At 6'1", 290, you're asking a lot for a defensive lineman in the modern NFL.
Dalton, where were you on Skylar Gill-Howard?
I think it sucks that he played 5 games instead of 4, so he can't redshirt and come back. That's what stinks. That'd be good for him. Maybe you get drafted. He needed a full year of film against high quality opponents. He only had 2 games against good teams, Utah and Texas and Houston. And Houston's O-line's not the right home about either. So really just Utah. Only half a sack, and that was against Arkansas Pine Bluff. The worst team he played. So undersized, and he wasn't too productive rushing the passer, which he would have to be at this size to get drafted. I think he doesn't get drafted this year.
So we have a question in the chat from Anthony. So we're not covering Ruben Bain today. I believe Chris and Dalton covered Ruben Bain about 3 weeks ago.
Yes.
But do you guys see Bain as an edge or a defensive tackle?
He's an edge. He's not a defensive tackle.
Yeah.
I think it's the size. Now, maybe you do some looks where you kick him inside, but you're usually doing that to match him up against a guard, right? Like if you know that there's a guard that's a weak pass blocker on an obvious passing down, maybe you kick him inside. But Bain, similar, right? Bain would even be smaller than Skylar Gill-Howard. And we're already saying that Skylar Gill-Howard would be overmatched inside at the NFL level. So I think Bain is an edge. But
yeah, if he's D-tackle, he's not a first-round pick anymore.
Okay, so now we're getting into some big boys. Lee Hunter from Texas Tech, 6'4", 330 pounds. He is a favorite of Daniel from Home Squad Sports, who actually took Lee Hunter in the 4th round of a mock draft for the Packers on the 7 p.m. podcast. But Dalton, why does Daniel like Lee Hunter so much?
Man, I like him too. First year at Texas Tech, Central Florida transfer. He's really big, 6'4", 330, space eater. This Texas Tech defense has been really hard to run against, really hard to throw against. And he's one of the reasons why. Him, Jake Rodriguez, and, of course, the DNs there. A lot of studs in that defense, but he's the biggest reason why the run game is tough to run inside. He can occupy double teams with the best of them. He can rush it. He can rush the passer better than you'd anticipate for his size. At the 3 tech especially. He's good agility for his size too. He can move down the line of scrimmage. Obviously, he's a really strong, powerful guy. He's quick off the ball, explosive off the snap. Really good punches, violent hands. He can disengage from blockers really quickly, and he has good counters when his initial move stalls, especially in the run game and getting into gaps. The only thing is limited pass rush moves, and he lacks a bend and flexibility, but most guys this size do. But I think he's probably my favorite, run stuff, maybe second favorite run stuff in D-tackle in this draft behind Ardarius Washington. I got around 3 grade on him.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I've seen some people have round 2 on him.
You see, and I want to meet those people on a podcast. Wow. Okay. So, Dalton, you are by far the highest player I have heard on Lee Hunter. Chris, do you agree with Dalton?
I like him. He's just, and look, I give him credit. He does the dirty work because Height and Bailey are you pin the ears back on the dogs and just say, get him. He's the guy who has to do the lunch pail work where he is tying up 2 guys, making sure that Rodriguez doesn't get blasted with guards. Like he does the stuff that coaches will go, we like that. He has good pass rushing. Like he is a big, powerful guy, violent hands. You saw him against games in Utah and especially, BYU where he is just pushing guys back. But he's not a great athlete. Like he's not one of these guys like a Peter Woods who you look and go, man, that guy is so quick and fast. He is just a big sort of lumbering defensive tackle. The techniques needs a bit work in his repertoire. It's just he's meat and potatoes. He has one move, and that's what he knows how to do. And if there's a different move, well, he's going to be in trouble. I have him as a fourth rounder, but I could see him move up to third because teams are going to look and they're going to when defensive line coaches get their hands on, they're going to go. We understood you couldn't do what you want to do. You had to clog up the lanes. You basically did what was best for the team, which I think goes a long way with coaches.
Yeah. So going back to your question here in the chat, Anthony, do either of you see Lee Hunter as more than a 0 or 1 tech?
He can play the 3, but he's definitely better at the 0 and 1. I mean,
he's a guy that he is an interior big defense tackle like a Jordan Davis. He's not going to be a guy who can move around like edge.
Yeah, he's not fast enough.
And like Anthony, there's a lot of comments you're putting in the chat about, hey, could we take Bain, move him to defensive tackle? Could we take Hunter and move him to 3 tech? I'm a fan of you let the player do what the player does well. You shouldn't be drafting a player in round 4 asking the player to change. You shouldn't be drafting a player in round 3 asking the player to change. You want to draft them for who they are and who they could be, but who they could be, you don't want to change like Lee Hunter to a 3 tech because his game is being the 2-gapping nose tackle. So you're drafting him to do that. Now, not all teams value that. So, for example, I don't think Lee Hunter is even going to be on Buffalo's board, right? Buffalo doesn't like large defensive tackles. They like 315-pound defensive tackles. We've got one of them coming up in this podcast here in a minute. So Buffalo's archetype tends to be a 315-pound tackle that can get upfield. That's what Buffalo wants, right? Whereas other teams will value the 2-gapping defensive tackle type, which is what Lee Hunter is. So that's my opinion. So I would love to have a Lee Hunter round 2 discussion. So Dalton, if you know who has the round 2 grades, let's get them on a podcast.
All right, I was just looking at some things earlier and I seen it, but I'm not sure who it was.
I mean, look, I can see it in that he's not too big. So it's not like, Dominique Orange or Dante Corleone where you're going, crap, this guy might eat himself out of the league. And again, coaches are going to look at him and go, we understood what you needed to do. Bailey and Height are guys who are just speed edge rushers, so you can't have them hold the edge. You need to do that. We know you couldn't just freelance and go after people because you didn't want quarterbacks to just start running all over the place and running past Bailey and Height yourself. We understood that. So I can see teams, the more they look at them, go, maybe we'll steal him in the second round. Maybe. Because coaches will probably argue with scouts and go, he's more coachable and he can do more things and not complain about, I'm not getting my sacks. I'm not getting my pressures. I'm not being able to, freelance because I got to make sure that we funnel the quarterback either to the right or the left and not have him take off the middle.
Did Buffalo draft Deion Walker 3rd round?
4th.
4th, okay. I like the same type of player.
Well, okay, but Deion Walker is significantly more athletic than Lee
He's
Hunter.
a freak. Yeah, he's a freak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's more Xavier Harris than he is Lee Hunter.
Yeah, and Buffalo doesn't play Walker at the 1 tech. Buffalo plays Walker at the 3 tech. Right, so even for as large as Walker is, Buffalo's not using him as a space eater. Buffalo wants him to get upfield and use his lateral agility and wreak havoc. Kind of thing, right? So don't just, right, I think a lot of people look at a defensive tackle and they say, okay, 330 pounds, he's this. Right? Because a lot of people in the last draft cycle would put Walker as the 0 or the 1 tech when that's not really what his best game was. Right? That's not the best way to utilize him. Because I know at least one draft professor said he's a better 3-4 defensive end than he is a 3-4 nose tackle. and that's Deion Walker at 330 or 340 pounds. So don't look at just the height and weight and let that be how you scout the player. Focus on what do they do well, what's their game, and then how does the draft value that. So I heard round 4 from Dalton and probably a day 2 from Chris. Is that what I heard your grades?
Reversed.
Reverse. I have him like a 3 or a 4. Dalton has him as a second round.
Got it. Okay, I misheard. Thank you for correcting me. Okay, Albert Regis from Texas A&M, 6'1", 317 pounds. Dalton, what did you think of Albert Regis?
A&M is like one of the worst teams in the country against the run, and he's the D tackle, so tells you a lot right there. He didn't stand out on film at all. A lot of their defense did, but the D tackle, he wasn't one of them. I mean, he's just really short arms. He's strong, but 2 sacks this year, both of them were like collapse pocket kind of thing. He stout the point of the attack, but really short frame, short arms, not the best athlete either. So a lot working against him. I mean, he has a high motor. He's a decent run defender. He can plug gaps, but he can get washed out by double teams too. And when the linemen get to his chest, it's really tough for him to get off just because his arms are so short. He can't get to their frame at all. I got Regis. I don't think he's draftable, honestly.
Okay. Chris, what did you think of Albert Regis?
Again, like Lee Hunter, he's sort of stuck doing the grunt work because we're going to talk about Cassius Howell, what he does. That's Texas A&M. They like speed. They want to go after you. They want to use a lot of speedy guys to attack, to pressure. So Regis is basically told, you got to hold the line. He's a little, of a Dutch boy plugging the dam. And look, he's not the greatest athlete. His discipline at times is inconsistent. Doesn't have much of a pass rush. He's good against the run. He's just one of the only guys that Texas A&M has that is big enough and decent enough in the run to hold up. But he has good closing speed for nose tackle. He has grown man strength where he can hold up one-on-one. He's a late round guy. He's a flyer, but there's potential with him. So I have him probably around that 5th through 7th, where some teams might like him a little more, but you probably are looking at him as a bargain basement.
Okay. So, Dalton, this is the 3rd time we've covered Albert Regis. I think you were the only one of the 6 people that covered him that had him undraftable. But realistically, the difference between round 6 and undraftable is really just in the eye of the beholder. Kind of thing, right?
Yeah, let's say every year there's guys drafting the 6th round. You're like, who is that?
Exactly. So I like what we had there in Albert Regis. So another player getting a lot of buzz. Shout out to James Foster. He was the first one that brought this player to my attention. Mateen Ibaragba from Wake Forest. My understanding is he has another year of eligibility. Some people like him day 1. Some people like him day 2. Some people tell him to go back to school. Chris, where on the smorgasbord of grades are you on Mateen Ibaragba?
Yeah, I tell him to go back to school. Look, he's a nice player, but the production's not there. 7 solo tackles, 2 sacks. Against SMU, we didn't really do much. There's stuff to like. Like he is, and he's athletic for his size. He is raw pass rushing ability. I mean, there's stuff to like. It's just too many times I was watching the tape and I go, where is he? Like he disappears. And that's not good. I mean, like when we talk about all these players, it's all right. Are you consistently on the tape? Are you consistently, involved in big plays? Are you a guy that is making a difference? And with Ibarraga, as I said, There's some game, and look, he's 6'3", 296. He's a junior. He should go back. This is his first full year of actually playing. But again, the Virginia game, SMU, he was almost didn't do anything against Oregon State. Yeah, he was a big factor against. Yeah, when he's playing NC State and Western Carolina, he's doing stuff. But yeah, he needs to go back to school. I don't know if he comes out, he will not get drafted.
Dalton, where were you on Ibaragba?
The first thing is I just think he's really raw. Georgetown transfer, didn't play many good linemen there. A lot of undersized guys he went against. He was just dominating them easily. He had a little bit of adjustment period this year, I think. The 2 sacks, not too productive, but he has 15.4% pressure rate, and for D tackle, that's really high. And being that raw, I think there's a lot of upside here. Lethal first step for him. He can get through the gaps to rush the passer. He can get skinny. He's quick moving down the line in the run game. Surprising power for his size in the bull rush. Good long arm technique, and he can absorb double teams with the knee drop move he has. But he does play high at times, and it's his production against high quality opponents. It's just not there yet. I think he comes out though. I think a team will definitely give him a shot just because of his potential. They think they can coach him up and make him a really good pass rushing D tackle. I think round 4 probably somebody would get him if he comes out, but I think he should go back and maybe he can move up to round 2.
I'm sorry, I've
seen somebody
have to look
this week.
We have to look at the schedule. Like his best, the games against Virginia Tech and Georgia Tech and Virginia, 2 tackles combined. He's when he does well, yeah, but it's Oregon State, it's Virginia Tech, it's UNC, it's NC State, it's Western Carolina. If you can't do well against Georgia Tech and Virginia, what are you going to do against not just top SEC teams, but NFL teams where they're much bigger, strong? I mean, I get it. We look at all this tape, but to me, it's like if you can't do well against good teams, don't come out in the draft because teams are going to look and go, we're wasting our time. This guy is just the next level. He'll get overwhelmed.
Yeah, so Dalton, do you see the question there from Anthony?
Yeah, no, he has some other moves too. I mean, he's raw. Like I said, he's still getting this pass rush plan together. But I've seen him flash a good swim move, swipe, and he had occasional swim. And just he's a raw. He's a blank slate right now. I think that's why a team would reach for him. But just you see the talent in him. I think if a coach gets him, especially a good defensive coach, they can make him right.
Yeah, and Anthony. So this is also the 3rd time that we have covered Ibaragba. I believe he was covered yesterday. And one of the things I like when Brian Maffey does it, Brian Maffey has like a list of every pass rush move, and he'll just check off which moves every player he evaluates has. So go ahead and check out yesterday's podcast with Brian Maffey for more information on his pass rush moves. Okay, John Henry Daly from Utah. Chris, this is one of your guys.
Oh, I love this guy.
Yeah, tell us why.
He is, let me put it this way. He looks like Gary Bertier from Remember the Titans. He plays like Bobby Boucher. He is just all-out aggression. Excellent burst off a line. He just hunts for the quarterback and a running back. He's played standing up and his 3-down technique. He can use with speed and power. He's constantly just a ball of motion. And I point back to the 2 games which to me caught my eye. The first was Texas Tech. 5 tackles, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble, basically nearly breaks Baird Morton's in half. Helped keep that game close for a bit against a much superior offense in Tech. And then in their win against Arizona State University, 1.5 sacks, 5 tackles, chasing down, Jeff Sims. look, he's a smaller defensive end. He's 6'4", 245. He's an older guy because he had that 2-year Mormon, layaway, as we call it, on a mission. Then now he's technically a redshirt sophomore, but he's probably around 22, 23 years old. God damn, I just love this guy. I get it. He's not physically big enough to hold the edge. He sometimes can just get too. Give me these guys. I want an attack dog at my edge. I want a guy who's just going to kill. Just drafting, I draft him in the second round. He'll probably go round 3 or 4. But man, as I said, I don't care if you are Spags, if you are Lou Amarula, if you are Harbaugh, you are looking at this guy going, I want to adopt you. You are going to be my favorite player. You're just going to attack people, and I will just I will unleash you on everybody.
And Dalton, this was a player that you didn't have a chance to get to, right?
Yeah, I have not yet, but it sounds like I'm gonna have to. Do you have a good comparison for him, Chris? I mean,
as I said, I would check out Texas Tech game. I would check out the Arizona State game, and you'll see him just go after Baron Morris, go after Jeff Sims, and do everything to get after them.
You can chase Jeff Sims down. That's pretty impressive, man. He's fast.
Chris, do you see the comment here from Anthony?
I do not know, but let me check it out.
You want me to read it out louder, or can you get it?
Based on the tape I've seen for John Daly, what can I see him doing as being an off-shade nose and a wide 9 defense? I mean, he's 6'4", 245, so...
No, to me, if you're sub 280 at the NFL level, you're just going to get washed out.
Yeah, 280s, man.
I could see him be like Leo Chanel, where you can maybe move him as a linebacker who just attacks more. I don't know if he has the speed to go sideline to sideline with NFL caliber tight ends or fast running backs, but he is a downhill guy, and again, you can use him all over the place in terms of, all right, I'm going to have you on the edge, maybe inside as a blitzer. You just find ways because he just is in. Again, he is that Doberman you want going after people. Just go, all right, just hit them, get after them, make them uncomfortable. I don't care how you do it. We're going to find a way to put you on, and you will do that for us.
Yeah. And again, I'm generally not a fan of a player switching positions unless there's really good data to support it, like a wide receiver moving to tight end or a tight end moving to wide receiver kind of thing, right? Yeah. But generally speaking, a defensive end and a defensive tackle are not the same. Like the body types aren't the same. The athletic testing isn't the same. Like when you're looking at a RAS score for a defensive tackle and a RAS score for an edge, the scores aren't interchangeable, right? Whatever the RAS score is position specific for a reason, because different positions have different thresholds. You want different attributes at the position. Okay, Vincent Anthony Jr. from Duke. So this is, again, Chris, another one of your guys. I love that you were asking me, hey, Jim, can we add him to the podcast? I am all about that. So if you've got your guys and we have the time to cover them, absolutely. So why do you like Vincent Anthony Jr. from Duke, Chris?
He slowed down a bit as the season went on, but he's another pass rusher. He is a guy who is 6'6", 250, long arms. He is a guy who you line up on the edge and he just unleash him on as a pass rusher. His best game is Illinois, 3 sacks, and he's just, getting around the left tackle, blowing by him, destroying Luke Altmaier. That's what he is, though. He's an edge. He is just. I mean, the motive, the work ethic are there. But it's just at 6'6", 250, you're going to get pushed around by bigger offensive tackles. His consistency in a run defense needs work. Setting the edge could be inconsistent because he goes for the home run kill. he has that one pass rush move in terms of, the swim technique. If it fails, he doesn't have a lot of counter moves. There has been some injury history, but again, if you can get after the quarterback, teams are going to take a look at you. So he's dropped a bit. I have him as a round 4 draft pick right now. Maybe he could go higher, though, because if he goes to those all-star games and he just flashes, teams are going to just lap up because they'll go, he has a height, put some extra weight on him, maybe an extra 15 pounds, make him a little bit more thicker. And again, if you have a big wingspan, you can get after the quarterback. That teams want that. They just get after the quarterback, make him uncomfortable. If you can bring him down, even better.
Okay. And Dalton, did you have something on Vincent Anthony Jr.?
Yeah. I think you said about the Illinois game. I was watching that game, and it was one of the most impressive games I've seen by an edge rusher all year, I think. He's definitely slowed down a bit in the rest of the season. I mean, he hasn't no sacks the last 4 weeks, so he's slowed down a bit. But 78-inch arms, man, that's really, really long for his size. That creates natural leverage, gives tackles problems. First step's really fast, generates immediate pressure sometimes, and the bend around the edge is really good. Great flexibility for his frame. Really active hands through the pass rushing sequence. You can keep blockers guessing. Really good motor, man. He pursues sideline to sideline every play. Yeah, he's just a little undersized, and he's not great against the run. He's a pass rush specialist only. That's his only problems. And sometimes his pass rush plan is predictable, and his first move doesn't work. I got a round 4 grade on him. But he could move up, like you said. I think he's a guy that could dominate in the all-star setting.
Yeah, I think a 6'6" edge is going to catch more than a few scouts' attention, right? Because, I mean, a lot of the guys that we've been covering are like 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", and here we have 6'6". And Dalton, I love that you mentioned the wingspan as well. Those are things that NFL teams are going to absolutely love.
Yeah, 78 for that height is crazy.
Yep. So, like, here would be an example, right? We have Malachi Lawrence from UCF as an edge, 6'4", 250. We're going to see a lot of edges that are this size in this draft class. Dalton, what did you see with Malachi Lawrence from UCF?
Yeah, he's pretty much just another one of these designated pass rushers. 7 sacks this year, 20 career. So he has the production that you look for at the next level. Designated edge rusher, like I said, good bend and hips. He can get around the edge. Really quick get off the line of scrimmage. He has a good hesitation move, and acceleration out of it. It's really great. Pass rush plans. He has chops, spins, long arms, rips, swims, and swipes. So he can combine the moves too. So he does have a good pass rushing plan. Hands stay active throughout the play. He never stops. He can disrupt run plays in the backfield or in pursuit, but that's his best asset against the run. If he doesn't do that, he gets washed out. He can fail to anchor, maintain gaps. Stack and shed technique's not there yet. So it's just really soft against the run right now. That's his biggest problem. I got a round 5 grade on him as well. Just a edge rusher only in pass rushing situations, I think.
And Chris, where are you on Malachi Lawrence from UCF?
Yeah, similar. Like he's a lot. He's shorter than Vincent Anthony, but the same kind of player. 35-inch arms. 6'4", 260. You can see the athleticism. Like he's had quick wins against offensive tackles by dropping his hips, flattening the rush, and just getting under them. He has a pass rush plan, which has included chops, club swings, inside spins. He can rip, swim. He doesn't have a go-to move. Like he's confident. Like he'll try things and he does a good job combining them, but there's nothing that is like that one big thing. But that's what he is. He's a pass rush guy. Like against a run, he gets overwhelmed because he's just not physically big enough. Probably a 4th round, maybe a 5th, just because you're not sure how he does against top-level competition. It's Central Florida, and at times he's not done great against the better opponents. But, like a lot of these guys, you look and it's like we can fix him. We can work on him. We can improve him a bit. And he has that athleticism that teams will fall in love with.
Yeah, so first of all, very draftable player. we've covered him 3 times, right? There's Sunday, Monday, Wednesday defensive line podcast. This is the 3rd time we've covered Lawrence. Everybody's coming back with a draftable grade. This is the first time his grade has not been day 2. So there's a lot of draft professors that really like him. Definitely want to give a shout out to Hank. Hank has been the Malachi Lawrence fan club president, I think, since the summer. But this is definitely a player whose name you're going to be called. I'm curious how many designated pass rushers can go on day 2. Right? Because, we've got the David Bailey, we got the Malachi Lawrence. We could put, we're going to be covering Cassius Howell here in a minute. We got Romello Height, and we could just keep adding the names of the designated pass rushers. Eventually, one has to fall to day 3. Right? They can't all go on day 2. But I definitely love what you guys had to say about Malachi Lawrence, and I am looking forward to doing our group mock drafts to find out how many people that are not podcasting with us value him, in that day 2, day 3 range. So the star of the hour is Cassius Howell from Texas A&M. So this is the last player we're covering today. Dalton, what do you have on the Texas A&M edge?
I mean, production's there for sure. 11.5 sacks this year in the SEC. He was worried about him when he transferred over from Bowling Green 2 years ago, if his production would transfer over, and it sure did. I mean, he's playing great this year. One of the best pass rushers in the country, if not the best. Little undersized, being 6'2", 248, but it hasn't slowed him down at all in the college. 21.5% pressure rate this year. So he gets pressure on, 1 every 4 plays, 1 every 4 pass plays. That's great percentage. Really good hands, violent, really good swipes, relentless energy, pursuit. He has a good length in his arms, even being 6'2". He can control blockers. He's not fooled by misdirections and RPOs nearly at all. Really good bend around the corner, explosive, good hips. He had a lot of pass rushing moves. So, if you name it, he has it in his bag. Maybe not refined yet, but it's getting there, and he has a little bit of it. He lacks strength to hold the point of attack in the run, and just like a lot of these guys. His closing speed's not the best in the pocket either. Once a guy he's facing a fast quarterback and he takes off, he struggles to catch him. Limited coverage experience. He's not going to do that in the NFL, I don't think. You're just going to have him pin his ears back and get to the passer. I got a round 2 grade on him. I don't think he's going to go first just because his run game deficiencies. But some team might take him just because they think they can get, 15 sacks out of him. I just don't see it unless he can put on like 10 pounds.
Chris, how about you on Cassius Howell?
I'm going to piss off people here. I have him as my 3rd best edge in the draft. After looking at all these guys, I have him ahead of David. I have him ahead of Bain. He is just but then again, I love guys who get after the quarterback and can get them. And look, he is a lethal defensive edge pass rusher. We've seen him. Like he has right now he leads. He has 12.5 sacks. 9.5 of them have come in SEC play. So it's not like he just feasted on minor competition. Like he has multiple double, more than 1 sack games. He has 2 against LSU, 2 against Mississippi State. We saw this game against South Carolina when they needed him to get after Lenore Sellers. He got after him. I mean, he is just a lightning quick first step. He has multiple pass rush moves. He has that spin move, which is basically put defensive tackles almost on their ass because they have no idea what's coming. I get it. He has short arms. I get it. He is not, quarterbacks sometimes will be able to outrun him because he gets too over aggressive. And I get it. He's not the coverage guy, but man, what he does is what his skill is great. And in the league, which is desperate, and I mean, their team's desperate for pass rush help. He is that guy. You're going to have to be creative. And I know there's going to be teams that are going to look and go, well, he does this and this and this wrong. Dwight Freeney did all that wrong too. And look at Dwight Freeney. He's a NFL Hall of Famer. If you can get after the quarterback, if your pass rush moves are that good, God damn it, draft a guy in the first round. There will be some team, I don't care who probably the lower first round, but they will go, man, if we have him, we could do some damage. We'll send him after Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Drake May. We don't care. He's just going to get after these guys. He will sack the quarterback. We will make do with all the other awards because, God damn it, this guy is just a pass rush specialist, and you cannot have enough of those guys.
Okay. So loved hearing that on Cassius Howell. I believe that's the last player for today. So let's take that down. So next week is our last week covering the defensive line class. So I have 9 players on the list. If you guys want to add any more or do like a rewatch of anybody, we can definitely add them. But the players for next week, Quintavious Hutchins from Boston College, Will Help from Clemson, Gabe Akis from Illinois, Tyreek Sapp from Florida, Zion Young from Missouri, Anthony Lucas from USC, R. Mason Thomas from Oklahoma, Jayshon Barham from Michigan, and Trey Moore from Texas. We may have already done Barham and or Moore. Like at one point they were with like the earlier weeks, but I don't remember if both of you were podcasting that week. And the linebacker group rejected those two as linebackers. And I'm like, well, I think they're linebackers at the NFL level, but we need a podcast to cover them. So those are the 9. And that would be November 24th. And then that first podcast in December, we can do a big board kind of thing. You guys have any other defensive linemen that we haven't covered yet that you want to talk about?
Yeah, we haven't done Damon Wilson Jr. yet. We've missed him for some reason.
Well, he got a return to school grade. That's why he was removed. One other podcast covered him. He got a return to school, so then I didn't duplicate him. But we can cover him again next week. If you like him, we'll cover him.
We do Quincy Rhodes.
Oh, we can definitely do him. I think we did him the first week, but you weren't here, so let's do him. Yeah. Okay. Any others?
I think that's it for
that's
me.
It, yeah.
CJ Fight. Do we do him?
We did him. I think it was the same week that we did Quincy Rhodes, but we can do CJ Fight. Absolutely.
I figured y'all did the first week, but okay, cool.
Well, no, and that's okay because, like, if you want to be able to have a discussion and compare your eval with Chris, that's why we're here. That's why we do.
You know
this.
what? Because I'm feeling generous. Because it is the holidays, and I know there's people going to look at me and go, "But Chris, you already said he's too small." You know what? Navy's defensive tackle Robinson, goddamn, we should cover him. I love my armed forces guys. I know, I get it. I've said too many guys it's small, but the more I see this guy, the more I'm like, God damn it. I'm falling in love. I shouldn't fall in love. It's like a deep fried Twinkie. I keep telling myself I won't, but God damn it, Landon Robinson. I'm just looking at going, frig. There will be some team that looks and goes, military, hard-nosed guy. Well, we should talk about him because somebody will look and go, damn it.
So
he just does everything he loves
in the chat. Yeah, Ryan Sparks in the chat suggested him, and I think he suggested him like during the Wednesday podcast. So you guys cover the defensive linemen like we go through more on the Monday podcast. So I'm okay adding him because you guys don't take 10 minutes a player. Some of the other podcasts do they do their analysis and evals a little bit differently. So I added Landon Robinson. I will drop all of that into the group chat that we have here in a minute. Dalton, do you want to let everybody know about Home Squad Sports and all of the other content that you make?
Yeah, I won't have Home Squad Sports. Live shows every week, Monday at noon, Wednesday at 8. Got some interviews coming up soon with some really cool people, so be on the lookout for that. You can follow us on any social media.
Cool. And Chris?
Yeah, you can check me out at lastcallpodcast.com. Just dropped an interview with Marcel Dorf where we recapped the wild fights of this weekend's UFC 322. Also, we'll be talking this week with Will Thomas, breaking down exactly how it all came about with Virginia Tech getting their guy. That's right. James Franklin, the Penn to Virginia Tech. Who saw that? Well, probably a lot of people. And he's going to also talk about why he believes that Lane Kiffin will be a Florida Gator. We're going to talk about that. But, yeah, check me out, lastcallpodcast.com. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Rumble. I'm on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook. And once again, always an honor, pleasure being on the show here.
Yeah. So I definitely want to give a shout out to both of you because both of you work with Will Thomas. Will Thomas is also a draft professor. Because I know when I was talking with Daniel, I guess the Wednesday home squad show, Will is going to be doing that for the rest of the college football season, I believe.
Yeah.
You can also catch Will on Chris's Last Call podcast sometimes as well. So Draft Professors is a group of about 110 podcasters. Some of them you see on our channel. Some of them you may only see on other channels at certain times of year. So, for example, Will Thomas podcasts with us over the summer, a little bit in the early college football season. But his coverage isn't really draft related. It's more college football. So as we get closer to the NFL draft, you won't see Will here, but you'll see Will on Dalton's and Chris's channel. And there's a lot of other podcasters where you may have not seen them at all from July through December, but you're going to see them on our channel in January. So, for example, Darrell Jackson will probably be having a relatively regular show with Draft Professors starting in January. So what you get at Draft Professor is daily draft content, 7 p.m., 9 p.m. Eastern, every weeknight. So right now, those podcasts are breaking down different position groups. Chris and Dalton have spent time. I don't know what the exact count is, but the spreadsheet has 82 rows. So we've podcasted on probably close to 70 defensive linemen since the middle of October. Right? So we have a reasonably good handle on the defensive line class. But whenever somebody mentions a new defensive lineman, I'm like, okay, is that player worthy of discussing on a podcast? We're trying to make sure that any player drafted in rounds 1 through 5 has been podcasted on at least once. So that means that we know that we have those players on our radar. So we're never going to cover every player in the first 5 rounds. That's not reasonable. We're going to try, but to get 100% of them, there are still crazy GMs out there. But thank you so much for tuning in. For Chris, Dalton, myself, for the 110 people at the Draft Professor. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you on a podcast again tomorrow where Randall discusses wide receivers. Thank you, everybody.